Welcome to the Idaho Business Podcast, the only Idaho podcast focused on providing profits for Idaho people. If you love our state and love small business, you are in the right place. We interview local legends, learn business, and have way too much fun doing it. You're listening to the Idaho Business Podcast with your friend, host, and all-around great guy and owner of New Clean Commercial Cleaning, Spencer Ward.
All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Idaho Business Podcast. We're excited to have you with us. As always, we're sponsored by Health West. These guys are great partners, helping the Idaho communities and even outside of our Idaho. They're kind of widening their borders. They're growing and doing wonderful things, but they're helping us and our Idaho citizens improve their health and just help those that maybe are struggling. You know, they are there for them. So give them a Google, find the closest clinic to you, and go give Health West a visit. We're also sponsored by New Clean Commercial Cleaning, one of my companies. And if you need any of your toilets scrubbed or your carpets cleaned or any of that fun stuff, give us a call at 208-254-7070. And I'm sure there's going to be some free service for you just for calling and asking and mentioning that you heard about it on the podcast. So let us know. You know, I just got out and away from a little, I call them family trips. I went to Bear Lake with my family. I don't call them vacations because it's literally just watching your kids in a different city. You definitely need a vacation after the family trip. I hope my wife doesn't listen to this because she's going to disagree with that. But you parents out there know what I'm talking about. You know, you're helping your kids have fun and hopefully achieve, you know, the happiness that they want to have while they're on vacation. But that got me thinking about, you know, happiness and what is happiness and what we can do to motivate ourselves and continue to strive for happiness and strive for better accomplishments within our own lives. And then I listened to also, you know, one of my great mentors in my life via podcast is Ed Mylett. You know, obviously he doesn't know me. I know him. He's fantastic. And he had an episode about what's your X factor and what helps drive people to do great things. And maybe not even fully great things, but, you know, there's a reason he started off talking about, there was a reason when that he was, I think 20 years ago or more, he was living in an apartment with his water that got turned off, electricity got turned off. And now flash forward, he's living on a beach, side mansion, his dream home by accomplishing things that he needed and wanted to accomplish in his life. So he started thinking, you know, he talked a lot about who you surround yourself with. And I was thinking about that as I was going throughout my family trip and thinking about my own people I associate with on a regular basis. And are the people we associate with and are friends with and who you're texting after you're done listening to this podcast, are they the type of people that make you strive to be better, personally, spiritually, financially? If not, do they uplift you in any way? Do they, I guess you want to have all three of them. But if that friend or that associate calls you and you're thinking when you see their name on the caller ID, oh man, it's going to be a drain. This conversation is going to be a drain. Maybe that's a telltale sign that you're surrounding yourself with the wrong type of people. You get to choose who you surround yourself with. And I'm not saying, you don't need to call them up and say, you know what, I'm better than you. Get out of my life. You don't need to do that. But it does take effort and work to find other people that share the same values and the same professional goals and everything in that way to get to know them more in your life. And it's not just, hey, what can you do for me in my life? There's got to be some reciprocity, and you're looking for ways to add value to their lives. And this has been done over and over, guys. Like there's so many people out there that have started from nothing, or started from, just running a good company, but they felt like they were stuck, and they had some positive influences in their life, and they were given some more direction, and they were able to turn this basic company into an empire. But there's a few that come to mind for me is like J.K. Rowling. My kids are huge Harry Potter fans, so one day I looked her up just to see her story, and literally in 1994, she was, I think, without a job. She just gotten a divorce. She was on government aid, and barely could afford to feed her baby. And this was 3 years before the first Harry Potter book came out. She couldn't even afford the photocopying of her 90,000 word novel to send out to different publishers. So she had to literally manually type out each version to send to publishers. And it was rejected dozens of times until it finally got accepted by a small publishing firm in London that gave it a second chance after the CEO's 8-year-old daughter fell in love with it. So what do we learn from stories like hers, or what do you call it? I think Stephen King, the same thing with him. He was living in a trailer with his wife. They were both broke and struggling. Both worked multiple jobs to support their family while they're pursuing their writing craft. He got rejected over 60 times, and he literally kept all the rejection notes on a nail on his wall, and he just kept impaling the rejection notes on this nail, and finally he had to turn it into a spike because the rejection note outgrew the length of the nail. So, and he still has that today. So then he got his big bestseller book that got published was Carrie, that horror movie. Again, I'm giving you famous, people as examples because we all know them. But I know you guys all know people in your lives that have come from nothing or mediocrity, and they have accomplished great things. Jim Carrey, another one of those people. His father lost his job. They were living in a Volkswagen a van, and his whole family was. And he went out and he sent I think he was 14 or so, and he sent his resume out to one of the comedy shows, and was rejected. And then at 15 he went to a comedy club and bombed. And then at 16 he actually dropped out of college. out of school, not college, and moved to LA, where he literally just spent year in and year out going to different clubs and perfecting his craft. And then he wrote himself a $10 million check for acting services rendered, which he dated for Thanksgiving 1995. And just before that date, he hit his payday with Dumb and Dumber, but put that deteriorated check that he kept in his wallet the entire time in his father's casket, which is interesting. It's so you don't have, and I think sometimes we think, these are famous people, these are people that have more, brain power than me, more ability than I do. No, they're just like you and I. They put their pants on the same as we do. They eat the same foods we do. Like, they're just normal people. But what I guarantee the catalyst for all of them is they had a positive influence into their life or throughout their life, pushing them to say, you got this. And one more, I've talked about this before in the past, but I think his name was Trent Shelton. He got injured. He was a defensive back, I believe, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, I think in the early 2000s. And he went to tackle someone, and I think he either bruised or broke his back somehow, and the doctor said, you'll never walk again. He was paralyzed on the field. And when people came to his hospital room to see him and to, give them their condolences, his wife would literally stand guard of the room and say, listen, if you're coming here to do a pity party or say, oh, I'm so sorry for your loss and all this kind of stuff, you're not coming in. She only let people in that were going to be a positive influence in his life. And because of that, and obviously through his own, grit and determination to rehab himself, he was able to get to the point that he could walk again, run again, and he felt like he could easily go play in the NFL again. But he never did because he always felt like, what if I can't go back to the 100% like I was? It'd probably bother him. But all these people have just great support staff behind them. So if you have people like we've talked about that aren't getting your back, or they're constantly they're kicking down your dreams when you talk to them about it. Oh, see, that's bull crap. You're not going to be able to accomplish that. Are you kidding me? You want to do that? That's insane. No, don't worry about it. Just go get a job and just, come out and hang out with us on the weekends. It's just crazy talk. If you have that kind of conversations with the people that you're around, it's time to start finding better people. And I guarantee your happiness is going to go up. I guarantee you're going to have, more success in your life. And just all around, you're going to be a better person. And you're going to accomplish the things you want to accomplish. Because sometimes we think, this is probably the pinnacle of where I'm going to be for the rest of my life. I probably don't deserve more than this. And we literally shouldn't ourselves. My consultant always says, don't shouldn't yourself. I shouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have done this, or I shouldn't do this, or I shouldn't do that. When we should be saying, I can do that. I will do that. And we can bust through those barriers, because I know I've had that in my life. I've had certain times I'm like, I'm making okay money. I'm successful with my family. I feel like I'm this, I should be, this is probably where I'm going to stay. And then I catch myself thinking, what am I doing? It's not like at the forefront of my mind, but it's like, what are you thinking? What are you doing? Bust through those barriers and become the better person that you can be. So I hope this can be helpful to all of you that are listening, because you can be a better version of yourself. You can be more successful than you are currently right now. You can make more money than you are currently right now. It just takes a little ingenuity, some positivity, and better people around you. So again, guys, as we come to close, be happy, be grateful, and go out there and serve some others, and you're going to see your life change. Adios. Have a fantastic week, and go dominate.
Congratulations on spending a couple of minutes getting a little bit smarter, having some fun, and supporting the Idaho business community. If you're feeling the love, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you are.